friends, it's Miss Dom, and today we're going to be starting our self-portrait. So you're going to need that 12 by 18 larger paper, and you're going to need to be holding it portrait style. So I am going to go ahead and put a little picture of a rectangle here. And we're just going to pretend that that's your paper, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to start with, oops. Get my tool out here. What you're going to do is you're going to start with that egg shape, that oval shape. And notice mine is not perfect, okay? I'm trying to get the right shape. So I need to do some erasing, and you might need to do some erasing too. Once you got the shape kind of where you want it to be. All right, so I'm just going to erase this out. And you want to be using a pencil for this, okay? Now, I have a mirror here that I'm going to be looking in as I draw. And you need a mirror or a picture of yourself as well. Okay, so if you don't have that, you want to get that out because we are doing a self-portrait. Now, if you remember from when we practiced, I'm going to do this in a different color, but you want to find the middle. Okay, so you want to find something that, you know, this and this are about equal. That's where the eyes are going to be. Okay, and then your nose is going to be somewhere around here, your mouth is going to be somewhere around here approximately, and you can fit about 5 eyes across the face. So the first thing you want to do is just sort of map out where your features will be, and then again you're going to need to make some adjustments. So this looks slightly off, so I'm going to move that over just a bit. So I'm just trying to space things, so the eye would go right about here, okay, and then the nose would fit right about here, and then the mouth goes about there. But again, you don't want to start getting any details in until you sort of figure out where that needs to go. Now, big mistake that I've noticed, because I've done this lesson many times, is a lot of times, let me just switch my color, when people do their eye, if this is the line and you know here's your marks, they want to just connect those marks like this and make a really round eye. Nobody's eye is that round. You know, you have an eyelid that covers the eyeball, so your eye is not that round. Another mistake people make is they do the measuring wrong, and you know they have either too many lines there and you know a big gap between the eyes, or the eyes are really close together and there's too little of a gap between the eyes. So the whole point of making those marks is so that this space, this space, this space, this space, this space, they're all about equal. So the space between your eyes should not be too small or too wide. It should be about 1 eye width. So you have 1 eye here, 1 eye here, 1 eye here. Now, of course, this eye doesn't exist, but that measurement is what you're looking for. Okay, so let me erase all this and talk about actually drawing the eye. We're going to start with the eye. So once you've got the spacing down, and if you need to pause and get it correct, that's fine, or you want to just watch this and then do it, that's fine too, however you want to do it. But when you look in the mirror at your eye, some things I want you to notice. Okay, I want you to notice when you look at your eye, can you notice the eyelid? For some people have a very noticeable eyelid. Some people's eyelid folds under. You don't really see it. The other thing I want you to notice is that your pupil and iris are round. So see that? That needs to be more round. So I'm going to put my pointer tool in here. part of that round circle is going to be covered up by your eyelids, the opening of your eye, okay? So you don't see the whole circle. Some of that circle is going to be covered up. And then once you get the shape of your eye correct, so your eye may not look exactly like that eye that I just drew. You need to take a look at your eye. So your eye might be wider or more narrow. Get it as close as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then I want you to notice how close is the eyebrow to your eye. And does the eyebrow go past the corner of your eye? Or is it thick? Or is it thin? So try and notice the shape. Is it more straight? Some people have eyebrows that are sort of straight. Others have eyebrows that are very curved. So once again, you're going to need to look in the mirror at your eye and draw what you see. And of course, you're going to need to kind of erase some of these lines here. Okay, so you're going to be looking in the mirror and you're going to be drawing what you see when you look at your eye. And if you can see an eyelid, you're going to draw the eyelid. We're not going to worry about coloring it in today. Some of you may or may not color it. Just depends on what art supplies you have. I recommend using crayon or colored pencils. You can blend the skin tone colors, but if you're at home and you don't have that, that's okay. Or maybe you want to try and paint. Or maybe you just want to leave it as a pencil drawing. That's okay too. Okay, so I'm going to add the eyebrow up here. Now, I'm moving a little quickly. Look at my eyebrow. That's not quite my eyebrow there. And again, you want to erase and try and get that in there. All right, so I'm also going to erase this line here, so it looks really weird, but you can see I already kind of started my nose. I've drawn a lot of noses. One final thing before we move on to noses, I want to talk about eyelashes. They sort of look like this and like this. If you want to include the eyelashes, you can, but you don't want to overdo those eyelashes. Okay, you just see the tips of them because they're coming outward. And again, if you don't want to include the eyelashes, you don't have to. Okay, I'm not going to get into all the shading of the eye right now. We're just trying to get the basic shape. The nose, if you drop down here, that's where your nose is, and you're going to take a look in the mirror and look straight at the mirror. Don't look up at the mirror. If you look straight on, notice how much of your nostril you can actually see. So it's going to be the shape of like this, or if you see more of it, it might look like that. Okay, so it could look something like that, could look something like that, or maybe you don't really see the nostril at all and it looks something like that. Okay, and so you want to sort of notice the shape of the nostril and how much of the nostril you can actually see, but nobody's going to have a nose that looks like this or like that. Okay, so really look at it. Noses can be a little challenging. I like to start with like a little parenthesis here. Erase that red. And then kind of do that, the nostrils and how they're connected together, however yours look. Try and kind of go like that. Okay. And then, and I know I'm going a little bit fast here. Again, if you need to stop, work on the nose, and then continue, that's fine. The space right here, from the middle of your eye down, that's about where that mouth is going to be. The nose should be about as wide as the space between your eyes. If you don't have a long bridge, your nose might be a little bit wider, and that's just genetic. But it's about this. We're working with approximates here. Okay, so your nose is about as wide as the space between your eyes, could be a little bit wider, and then your mouth is about as wide as the space between your middle of your eyes, as opposed to the corners of your eyes. Don't worry about this part right here. You can, when we kind of finish it and start coloring it, you can add, you know, a little bit of shadow in here to make the bridge of your nose. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so for your mouth, let me erase out some of this eye and nose stuff so I have a place to talk about the mouth. So when you look in the mirror at your mouth, I want you to notice that you have, all right, you have this line here, and I'm gonna, if you want to curve it up a little bit to make it look like you're smiling, you can. Just gonna get rid of that red line there. And then notice how you have a little dip right here. Okay, everybody right in the middle, right underneath your chin, you have a little dip. And then it curves up and then gets really skinny in the corner. Curves up and gets skinny in the corner. Now, it's going to be sort of a banana shape underneath there for the lower lip. Some people have a little dip that goes down. That's the most common. Some people have a dip that goes up. That's less common, but again, it's genetic. And then you need to look at the thickness of your lips. So some people have, you know, thicker lips like that. My lips are very thin, so they look more like that. This is a little more kind of in the middle. Some people have a thin upper lip and then a fuller lower lip. So again, just look at the mirror, see what your lips are looking like, and then you can draw them in. It's probably actually thicker than what my lips are. It's a little hard on the screen to get it. Okay, so now once you've got the basic features in, I want you to take a look at the contours of your cheeks. Like, what do your cheeks look like? What does your chin look like? I have this little divot. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a little divot on my chin right here. It's called a cleft chin, and it goes like that. So I'm adjusting, because nobody has a perfect egg-shaped head. So you want to adjust your cheek area if you need to. You want to adjust the shape of your face. So if it looks like it's too wide or too skinny, fix that before you get to the next part, which is your ears. And those ears don't match. The main thing with the ears is you want to get them to match. So take a look at your ears. See if you can get them to match. Get a little bit of a neck in there. And don't try and fit your whole body in there. Your shoulders are wider than your head. All right, so for this portrait, you know, that's about it. And then finally, we're gonna do hair. So right now our person is bald. I am just going to add a hairline in here, like so, okay? And then this is where I'm gonna stop. Generally, when I'm working with a class, that's about as much as we can get done in one day. So I will talk about hair in next week's video and talk a little bit about if you're going to either shade or color it in, what to do. I got this weird red stuff here from when I got started, but you get the idea. So I'll talk a little bit more about that hairline and that hair next time. But what I do want you to know today as you finish is that this part of your head is covered with hair. Your hair doesn't start up here. So look at this space right here of your forehead and sort of draw in that shape of your forehead to get started, and then don't worry about the actual hair. So that's it for today. We'll continue with this next time. Enjoy learning a little bit about Amrita Shergill and enjoy taking a look at her self-portrait. Fascinating. I've actually just learned about her, and I'm so excited to learn about this artist. So see you next time.